absolutely love that, Della. I absolutely love that. You did your research. You found a company that represented what you thought the values that you have, or what the values that you have for yourself. Not only that, you did your research and said, okay, well, if this is if you're saying this, let me just do some research on the company, right? And look at the people and see what they look like, right? Because you go to a whole bunch of company websites and they talk about diversity and inclusion all day. Yet you go to their, about us section and you look at the leadership and you see a whole bunch of men. Or you see, a whole bunch of whatever, right? And it's not a representation of what you think diversity, equity, inclusion is, right? So that's where I want you guys to take from this conversation that I'm having with Della, specifically on this piece of it right here, especially when you ask the question of what companies you should be applying for. Della said something that you have a passion in, okay? Something that you're interested in. You may not have a passion in because you don't know very much. Let's just say, Della found hers by being in school, right? And having a good understanding of cybersecurity. But you may not have that. So what is it going to be for you? Something that you're interested in. It could be a product, could be a service that you have an interest in. Then do your research on the company. And then when you do your research, look at what the company, is saying, and then analyze its people. If any of you guys have been in a coaching session with me, which I'll advise you to do if you don't know how to use some of these techniques that Della is talking about, book a coaching session with me at www.blkheights.com. And I will show you that a good way for you to do research on a company is by looking at its people. That's why LinkedIn is a powerful tool. When you type in the company name, you can click on it. The next you know, there's a whole section of jobs, people, about us, career information, all that sort of stuff. You click on people, it's going to show you all the people that are working for that company at that time. And you can scroll through and see what they look like, right? It could be you tapping into another brother or another sister to say, hey, you know what? Like, there's not very many of you out there. I'm going to be one that's applying for this company. You want to give me some insights? You want to let me know if this is a company I should be working for? You could do that. That's you doing your own research. And I advise people to do that because then they're able to get the information that they need to make a decision. Okay? So I love the fact that you said that, Della. You're using techniques, or you did use techniques that I coach about and so forth, and it's allowed for you to have success. So you clicked on a whole bunch of people, you messaged a whole bunch of people, the VP knew who you were, started adding you, the intern person, and then tell us what happened after that. Did you applied and then you got an interview, or did they, after you connected with them and you went through the whole messaging, they were like, let's have an interview? Tell us that process after you've done the whole LinkedIn and applying process.
Yeah, so the VP of sale of SMB sales in the region that I was going to be or I'm working in now, he reached out to me and scheduled a phone screening. And then afterwards he's like, I'm going to have my recruiter, reach out to you. And he sent me the application. I didn't even go and initially apply. He sent me the application, set up everything with the recruiter. And the recruiter reached out and was like, hey, so the VP, like, trying to figure out what's going on because I guess she's never seen this before. It was very rare, but yeah, I will say that if tech sales is something that you want to do, showing that tenacity and
Mm,
showing that is what's going to really make a difference for you because that's what you're going to need to be successful at it. You can't be afraid to go reach out to people. You can't be afraid to make those phone calls where they're probably going to hang up on you, where they're going to dismiss you. You can't be afraid. You got to
mm,
be able to call that person that called you an asshole and hung up on you. You got to be able to call them back whenever it's time. Same energy. Hey, how's it going? Still be, be yourself, so you're going to need that and giving any organization, any hiring manager, any manager, giving them a glimpse of that prior
mm.
to even applying is really going to make a difference in you getting a job or you not getting a job.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That was initiative that you showed, creativity, ambition, right? If hiring, that's wonderful. That you didn't even fill out an application. They were like, no, I want her. I want her. I want her on my team, right? So they, the VP went through his recruiting process and said, I have a role. Sent the recruiter after you. You went through, you had a screening with the VP. He's like, all right, this is a game, a winner for me. Um, you then, I'm assuming, went through multiple interviews. And were you thinking that were going to be hired as an SDR, or like what did you think that you were going to be hired as, and so forth? And what was your position, and things like that?
Yeah, that's great. So after he reached out to me, I spoke to Troy, and Troy was like, hey, he was letting me know, like, oh, you need to start applying that no before. I'm like, oh, well, the senior VP already reached out to me, or the VP already reached out to me, and he's like, whoa. So we went from there. He helped prepare me for every single interview. I made sure to space them out so that I could meet with Troy first. And Troy, I mean, when I say over prepared, they were floored. They let me know, we were very impressed. And that all came from Troy's coaching and him helping me prepare for each interview. And then once I thought initially it was going to be an SDR role. When the VP reached out, I'm talking, I'm like, yeah, da da da. And he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. This isn't for an SDR role. This is for a full sales cycle role. Is that what you want? And I'm like, yes. He's like, if you want, I can get you with the team for SDRs. I'm like, no, 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 no. I'll shut up now. The role it's called an account manager, a regional account manager, and it that when I first was looking it up, most account managers, it's a farming role. You're nurturing current accounts, but with this organization, what they do, they have account managers for a region, and it's a full sales cycle role. So
Mm.
you're starting from prospecting. You get some warm leads, you get some hot leads, and you get some cold leads, and it's your responsibility to turn as many of those as possible into an actual deal. So it was definitely something I wasn't looking for. I didn't go thinking I was going to get that. I just was like, well, if you're going to hire X amount of SDRs, I know I'm going to be one of them. And
Yeah.
I put as much initiative in. I said, I can't control everything, but I'm going to control the things that I can control. And those things that I could control being, my outreach, my time on LinkedIn, my LinkedIn presence, how much I invested in myself. I made sure to control those things. And, fortunately, I was able to land a role even greater than what I thought I was gonna get.
And tell me this, right? Because you went through course careers and you learned a lot. And one of the things that course careers does, it gives you the sales terminology, the sales vernacular, the sales process as an SDR. But many people may say, well, it doesn't prepare me for a role of an account manager and account executive, right? And I can tell you this, it does, because there is nothing that prepares you for an account manager and account executive role besides you working with other account managers and account executives, or working with people that have done that role for quite some time. And what I would say is this: you took everything that you learned from course careers and it was able to transition that into a full account manager role. Was there any bit of insecurities that you may have had, right? Because now you're thinking that you're training for a role that's here, and all of a sudden you're getting like that president role, right? You're like, oh crap, like, oh, what is this about, right? Did you have any insecurities? And what was it like for you to transition into a role like that, knowing that you haven't been in tech sales?
Yeah, there's a word that I think that maybe not in our community, or just I just was never exposed to this word until more recently,
I bet I know what you're
imposter
talking about.
syndrome.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome. Boy, is it real. And I realized every time I have elevated in life, I felt like an imposter, right? And it's normal, it's natural, because you're transitioning to something greater. So it's a part of the process. I've learned to accept it, and it's just a part of the process. So I did have those. um, but what I will say is I fall back on my character, right?
Mm,
So I know I'm the type of person that's gonna, if there's something I don't know, I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna do what it takes to find out. I may not have it all together. I may come in at 2 cents, but I'm gonna do everything I need to do to get to that dollar. You know what I'm saying? So I have to, every time I feel imposter syndrome or I experience it, I acknowledge, I validate those feelings, like, hey, this is new, it's uncomfortable, but that's okay. We can keep pushing through it, and I lean into it more. Why is it uncomfortable? Okay, well, maybe there's something I'm missing, and knowing yourself, because it's not, yes, course careers helped. It gave me everything I needed, and but it was up to me to
mm,
take that stew of information and really make something out of it. Two people can go through the same experience, one come out very different than the other. You know, you have kids that grow up in the same household and they turn out very differently. You have people that go to a game and it's like you listen to them, it's like they watch two different games.
Mm.
So I think that it's very much on you to take whatever you've gotten. And I try to tell myself, I can I heard a manager say this in the military, and at first it came off, it came off as like very cocky, but I started to tell myself this, like, you have to be able to be the type of person that can turn shit into gold.
Mm. Mm.
That's just what you have to do. And you have to tell yourself, I can turn shit into gold. I don't care what you give me, I don't care what life throws my way, I will make it gold. And really develop that personal confidence. And that only comes from overcoming challenges.
Yeah.
These challenges that we face in our life, these obstacles, they're really opportunities. And you just have to be able to see the opportunity within it, and just move in a certain way that just, you got to let life know I'm not playing and I'm going to get what I want to get out of life. Whether this works out or that doesn't work out, come what may, I'm getting to my goal and really be that intentional about it. And can't blame course careers at that point. At
Right.
that point you're taking personal accountability and you're saying, like, even if it was the crappiest boot camp, I'm going to make it the best. And it wasn't, but I think course careers handed me more than just the I think course careers is unique in that, you can learn the lingo from YouTube. You can learn the lingo from a lot of different places. Course careers provide you with a community of people. It provides you with that role play, that practice. And, what better way to show, like, all the people at the top in sales invest in themselves.
Mm.
What better way to show that you invest in yourself than by investing in yourself?
Mm.
And what better way to show that you're coachable than by getting on those calls twice a week and practicing your coachability and practicing those discovery calls and practicing, like, that. I think was the thing that really made course career stand out for me, was the actual practice. I met with Kevin, I met with Brock. There were a lot of people pouring into me and helping me, and that's not something you can get everywhere.
Mm. Mm. I love it. I absolutely love that, Della. You're absolutely right.